this thought about a dance teacher I had. She taught classical Indian dance. And one of the coolest things I remember learning, and I love the dance form. I think it's beautiful. But one of the coolest things I remember learning about in that class had to do with emotions. And we went through a series of exercises in and around how to sort of contort our muscles. So okay, so the idea was is that there's a lot of storytelling in classical Indian dance. You there's a lot of acting, and so you do a lot of the dancers sort of portray these very theatrical performances and stories, right? So you have to be able to emote. And one of the things I remember our teacher telling us, Menika Tucker, I think was her name, and I remember her saying that if you use your muscles and use your and really just embody the physicality, oftentimes the emotion will follow, because your body has a type of memory, your body has a type of intelligence, and if you contort yourself, and I know it sounds painful, but it's really not. But if you use those muscles in that particular way, it'll help you to get to where the emotion will be. So if you act on the physicality, the emotion will follow. And I think life is a lot. I think life is a lot like that. I think if you act a certain way, the emotions will follow. So I was thinking, like if you're searching for balance and you have an idea as to what balance might look like, this is the best way I can describe it, because I don't really know how else to talk about it, but you have a picture in your mind, and if you don't have a picture, then you're not going to get there, right? So you have to start with a picture in your mind as to what balance might look like for you, and it's different for everybody, right? So for me, balance has something to do with being physical. If I can fit physicality into my life, I think I'm doing all right, right? It's a good place for me to start. Um, Balance has there are other components too: eating well, being social, music and dance, and being a problem solver. Like all of these things are important to me and relevant to me, and I have to make room for them in some way. But it starts with this image, this picture of what life could look like, right? If it was balanced, if I could make room for all the things that are important to me in my day or my week or my month or my year. And I think what I've always done is sort of I've done the act before I even get to the emotions, right? Even, like, so I might not feel particularly balanced or particularly happy or particularly glamorous or anything, but I'll go through the motions, right? So oftentimes it's just carving out enough time in my day to go for a walk, right? Just to go for a walk. Because if I can carve out enough time in my day to go for a walk, what that means is I can carve out enough time in my day to clear my head, maybe, to think about something else, to listen to music, right, which is always therapeutic for me. And then if I can carve out enough time in my day to go for a walk and to start to feel a little bit differently, I can carve out enough time in my day to go for a run, maybe. I can carve out enough time in my day to do other types of training and other types of physicality. And that gives me a place to start to experience balance before I actually feel balanced, right? I think, at least for me, the way that I've approached this concept around balance has been to identify in my head what life looks like, figure out in my heart what's important, and find space in my life to even just to start with something. Even if you miss a day or two or a week or a month, do not in your head allow yourself to have given up, right? That to me is the only hard rule I have. That's the only hard rule I have. How you approach, how you get out of it, how you figure out it's going to change. It's going to change because again, you have different. You're juggling different things. It's going to change. You're going to have one day or 1 week or 1 year you're dealing with health issues. Another time it's money issues. These things are coming at you from different. You've got to deal with them differently. The one thing that I think is important is to have the intention of being committed to yourself. That's it. That's my only hard and fast rule, right? You can't give up. You have to be committed to you. So vulnerable. Okay. Vulnerable. Um, I think to do this sort of thing, you've got to be really comfortable with vulnerable. Like you've got to be comfortable, like getting like you've got to be so at ease with being completely open, and I think that's hard. I think that's hard. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not hard. Maybe it's perfectly doable and logical and the sound thing to do. But I think that mostly we're taught to become very pent up. Don't let people in. Don't let people see you. Don't let people see you. Don't let people see you. Don't let people know how you feel or what makes you cry. What makes you scared. Because if they have that about you, then they've got you. They've got you. Yeah. For me, I've never wanted to feel that trapped. On the one hand, but then on the other hand, I am very. I don't know if I'm open. I'm just very honest. It's not quite the same thing, I think. I think it can be interpreted as the same thing, but it's not the same thing. I think they're very different. To be honest and to be open. To be honest to me is I'm damn near incapable of bullshit. Damn near it. But to be open, oh, that's fragile. That's something else. So I don't, yeah. And I think in many ways, I think of vulnerability as openness. So I don't know how much of that is shared between the performer. Maybe it is the difference between the performer who is honest and the artist who is open. And these two can be the same person, but these are not the same modalities. I think a performer can be very honest without necessarily being open. Something to explore, something to think about.